All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Dapr community call number 94. It's November 15th, 2023. I'm Mark Duiker, your community manager. We have quite some points on the agenda. It came together like very, very last minute. But we still have quite some updates also about the KubeCon that happened last week. So let's get going. This is the agenda. First, Jeroen Schneider setting data content type for Outbox cloud events. Then something about the STC election voting that's now open. Then we have actually like an open call for another Dapr community manager, which I can share. And of course, the regular community show and tell will cover quite some updates in that. And there's definitely some room for an open discussion after that. So let's kick off with you, Jeroen.
All right, thank you. Just give me a moment here. Just need to get the right Visual Studio open. Yep, all right. Let me know when you can see my screen.
Yes.
Yeah, should be good now. All right, cool. So in Dapr 1.11, 12, I don't remember anymore. We introduced Outbox pattern, and Outbox allows you to execute a single transaction across a database and a pub sub. So there were some questions coming in from the community about how they can influence the data content type for the cloud event that gets published into their system. And we looked into that, and it really wasn't obvious, because apparently there is a way to set a content type on a state transaction, but alas, it's not documented, it's undocumented. So I opened actually an issue on the GitHub repository for the docs to update that. If anyone wants to do that based on what I'm going to show here today, that's great. But otherwise, this is what a Redis state store component would look like. What I'm highlighting now is a regular state store, just your good old state.redis component, but here we're adding the outbox metadata fields, which basically say, hey, every time you execute a state transaction to the state store, publish a message containing the data to this pub sub on this topic, and that's it. We demoed this before. This shouldn't be new. So the issue is, and I will just kick off the subscriber here. So I'm just going to do Dapr run, and just kick off the subscriber. It's going to subscribe to the event. So that Node.js application is going to log the state item that we're getting every time that another sidecar will be saving the state. And now I will be running just a standalone Dapr sidecar that doesn't have an app associated with it. This is a sidecar I will use to actually save the state. Okay, so the issue is today, if you go to Postman, for example, or your favorite client, and you issue a state transaction, you can see here, this is an absurd operation. I'm just going to send this, and I'm going to go back into VS Code, go back here, and we can see that, yeah, we actually received the event. So we executed a single transaction over a database and message broker, which is plain awesome, but the data content type is also coming in as plain text, or text/plain in this case. And apparently there's no way to influence that. So yes, there is. In the transactions API, and this is not documented, under the request itself, where you have key value, you can actually put in content type. Now, if you're using gRPC, that is actually part of the proto definition, so it's there, but sorry. Okay, someone's probably talking, not to me. And you can set up the content type, which is application JSON in this case, and we will just send this guy again. Go back into here, and we can see that the data content type on the event that's getting sent to the upstream subscriber has actually changed successfully. So we will be documenting that. That is how you can actually affect the data content type. It's on a, of course, it's on a per state operation, because you might be sending, you know, multiple requests in a single call. So each one of them, according to the data that you're sending, should have its own content type. And yes, this is what we are going to do in terms of documentation. Again, if you're using gRPC, the proto do have that, but the Dapr SDKs, based on, you know, auditing of about 3 or 4 SDKs, most of them do not allow you to actually pass in a content type. So this is probably something we'll want to do at the SDK level, which basically just exposes the proto content type field to the users. All right, and that's it.
Thank you for sharing that. I also had no idea that that field was there. Good to know. All right. I suggest you continue with the next topic about the STC election voting.
All right, cool. So this is basically going to take less than 1 minute.
And then afterwards we can answer Thomas' question because he has a hand raised.
So we've kicked off the STC elections, and you can basically go ahead and vote. So I'm going to put the URL here in chat. You should be able to see my screen. This is what it looks like. You need to find out if you're eligible to vote for the Dapr steering committee election that's starting. And this is basically the screen. You can see we only have one election because, why have more? And you'll see some description, the candidates, and then you can vote. You won't see the ability to vote here because I already did. But one tip is to make sure you have your passphrase right, because if you want to change it afterwards, you won't be able to unless you actually set a passphrase, and it doesn't require you to set a passphrase. So if you're eligible, you will see it here in this blue. I'm a bit colorblind, I'm red blind, so I don't actually know if this is blue, but it's some color that's bright to me. So you will see if you're eligible or not eligible. Is it blue?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Okay, cool. Because it could be green to me also. I mean, I'm not sure. Anyway, you will see if you're eligible or not eligible. And yeah, that's basically it. So we're done here. Also, back to you, Mark.
Excellent. Yes, I put the voting link in the chat, so please use that. All right, I will share my screen again. Oh no, there was actually a question from Tom, probably still about the Outbox pattern.
Yeah.
When let's say the Outbox goes out and one subscriber has a problem, it's down at so obviously that message then gets dead lettered, I assume, right? By whatever message broker you're using. Is that correct?
So if you have dead letter enabled on the pub sub that's used to deliver the event to the user application, and it has, some setting like dead letter if event is not being delivered after 5 attempts, and yeah, it will be dead letter.
Okay. Right. And yeah, presently right now, we're asking Dapr to do everything. That you'd have to write your own dead letter, a recovery piece, right?
So Dapr has a built-in dead lettering queue.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, I thought, wow.
Yeah, so you don't have to do that yourself.
It's pretty nice. Well, okay, no, that was, I just wanted a clarification on that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thanks for your question, Tom. Did I also see a hand from you, Mauricio? No, probably not. All right, let me share my screen now. Right, so we are looking for an extra community manager. So I'm still here, no worries, but there's quite a lot of stuff to do, and there's a lot of stuff to share in the community, and I think you need another person can do a lot of good work and help the community grow and give it all the attention the community needs. So there is an issue here on GitHub that describes all of the, let's say, tasks that you'll be doing as a Dapr community manager. It would be great, of course, if you have some experience in open source and maybe even community management. But even if not, then I will definitely help you out getting you started. I think there was already someone who already applied for this, so that's great. I would like to see quite some applications. Actually, yeah, you're in the call as well. Hi there. And in the end, the steering and technical committee will make a decision on this. Actually, I should also put a date in here until this, how long we keep this open. And there's only one thing, because here it mentions an initial term of 6 months, but it's actually an initial term of 12 months. So I'll fix this. So
unless you want to, leave early, because this is a voluntary role.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you really don't like working with me, then of course, yeah, you're allowed to leave early. Yeah. All right. Okay, let's start with the next one, the community updates. So first thing first, I'm not sure, is Paul on this call? I don't think so, actually.
No, so I'll send this to him.
Exactly. So I forgot to mention Paul's contributions like 2 or 3 times. Very, very silly, not intentional. So I promised him that I would do like a shout out for all of his work that he done like lately. So he gave like 2 sessions on Techorama in the Netherlands. So I actually met him there. It was very, very nice to meet him first time in person. And Techorama also makes these very nice movie-like posters. So this is not how Paul looks like, but they use some generative AI to make some movie posters based on the content of the talk. So that was nice. And he was also in Poland recently, also giving a Dapr talk. So Paul, definitely thank you for all of the amazing work that you do for the community. All right, then the blog posts that have been written in the last 2 weeks. There's a lot of KubeCon and App Developer Con news. So the first one is mentions application or App Developer Con in specific. It was the first time that this conference was held, and it was really quite popular. I'll have a lot of pictures and tweets about it a bit later. There were definitely like several hundreds of people attending the sessions there, and quite some were already about Dapr as well. So it was great for the like Dapr awareness. That App Developer Con is there. So I hope indeed Developer Con will be like a key event, like a co-located event for many years to come. Some other blog post was more like the second one by Ashwin Gatadi, more like an introduction to Dapr pops up, but then specific for .NET. The third one is like a whole series by James Dawson, how to use Dapr also in .NET, and in this case, specific containerizing with Visual Studio. And the final one is an example how to use the new .NET Aspire, which is like a new framework or new, let's say, developer experience to do distributed apps on .NET, how it actually can work together with Dapr. So if you want to get this combination of Dapr and Aspire working, you can have a look at this GitHub repo. Then back to App Developer Con, so quite some tweets to share about that. We also gave quite some sessions, and all these sessions are also published on YouTube already. I'll show the links a bit later as well. So there were definitely lots of shout outs to Dapr. People were already familiar with it. Love to see it there. But as I mentioned, also people were still like unaware of Dapr. But as soon as they got the introduction by attending one of the Dapr related talks, they really got enthusiastic about it. We were there with the Digrid booth, where we also spoke a lot about Dapr. So people were really enthusiastic to hear about this project. So there was a session done by Mauricio and Oleg here about the test containers in Dapr. Definitely received some good shout outs. There's also a session done by Alice and Kendall about Dapr workflow. That was like, completely packed room with that. Very hot topic still. Also great to see. And here are the direct links to all of the YouTube videos that mentioned Dapr. So the first one by Mauricio and Oleg. Like it was a lightning talk done by Bilgin that also contained Dapr, and the Dapr workflow session by Alice and Kendall. The link here at the bottom points to the playlist of App Developer Con. I think all of the sessions there were really good, so definitely have a look. Mark, Jeroen, if you have anything extra to mention about App Developer Con, I mean, Mark, you opened that day. Just feel free to unmute and mention something.
It was just a great time that we had to show Dapr fitting together with lots of applications. And if you want to submit a CFP for the European one that's coming up, please do, because we're very excited to be able to do it again in Europe and probably do it frequently. So it's a great time to bring application development that uses Dapr into the CNCF ecosystem.
Thanks. Yeah, that's a great addition. I think the call for paper is open until December 13th, I think. So yes, be quick.
The 3rd.
The 3rd even. Okay. Be quicker. All right. Then let's move on to this was still, I think, about App Developer Con. The second tweet here on the right was about the main event, KubeCon, where also Dapr was mentioned in one of the other talks about what WASM. Then we had Jeroen and Arthur mentioning doing like a very detailed session about how to achieve functional quality in a multi-cloud runtime, like showing all of the layers of the test pyramid and how Dapr has many different tests to make sure we have a good tested product. Was very cool to see. The Dapr project update video was shown on Thursday. And this was actually also, because that was in the large room, so a lot of people have seen that. So there was definitely a lot of traffic and also questions later at the booth about Dapr. So that was good to see. Then some more mentions about Dapr and really about improving the developer experience. That Dapr plays an important role in that. Also, some shout outs for the workflow API and Outbox pattern. And again, some more people mentioning Dapr, and that's some of one of their favorite projects. Well, that's always nice to hear. A tweet from Chris, one of the authors of Dapr Workflow. We did a session with Mark about Dapr Workflow, and then Mark did some demos about Outbox pattern and also showed the roadmap of Dapr. I think people are also very keen to see that. All right, so those were the KubeCon updates, then some other updates. So Kendall did a session, I think it was yesterday by Skill by the Bay, also about Dapr Workflow. I think that session also went very well. There was a tweet by GoTo Conferences. So Mauricio did a session for them a while ago, but there's now a blog post as well with some links, and you can watch the video back. Definitely recommend that. I'll be speaking this Friday at Buildstuff conference in Lithuania about Dapr Workflow. And in December, I think it's the 1st of December, there's a Community Day in Utrecht in the Netherlands. And Nico Kreine will give a session there about multi-cloud, and he will also mention Dapr. So those were all the community updates. Please, if you're not there yet, definitely join the Dapr Discord. And if you have news to share, please put it in the show and tell channel. And please, if you haven't scanned or claimed this Dapr Community Supporter badge yet, please do so. And feel free to also let other people know that this badge exists, right? So you can feel free to share this link here with anyone who you think is a supporter of Dapr. All right, that was the agenda. Any other questions, comments? What is the weather like in the Netherlands? Okay, well, yeah, the weather is quite similar to the UK. It's just very, very wet.
It's very cold too. I've been there last year. It's very cold.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I'll be attending Kubernetes Community Days in Utrecht. Any other questions?
Anyone wants to ask about the roadmap or future and things like this? We are also in the middle of 1.13 planning as well. So look at that, the planning issue that's coming together. So that's an interesting thing that's also happening in the project.
Yeah, definitely right. And there's that's all out in the open as well, right? So the planning is also in a GitHub issue. So you feel free to look around in that and make comments there if you want. All right. I think that's it. If there are any questions later on, feel free to ask me or anyone on Discord. And I'll see you at the next community call, everyone. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.